Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Lang Mini Studios, and Chase, better known as Kilk, as we talk about Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop gaming. You know there's something special about a good table, not of wood, not of polish, but of a game table, where the stories get told around it. Today we're pulling back the curtain on what was the beginning of our Tales of the Valiant campaign, the Session Zero for Lang Mini Studios' brand new campaign. Before we really get started, though, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors, all lovely 6 of them right now, and check out the links down below. And please support the podcast even further by using some of those wonderful discount codes that they have given us, and they all reach to affiliate codes that help make our audiovisual means even better. I did want to ask you guys, what was the first overall vibe you felt for our Session Zero? It was more structural, right? Or was it more structured or a casual group chat, do you feel?
In Brent's campaign?
Yeah.
Like the one that we just did like last month?
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It allowed, we were going into a new system, right?
Yeah.
So it allowed for us to really get into the weeds of that system because it's 5e adjacent, right? It's probably a good way to describe it. So, but there are a lot of things that are different. So it was a good way for us as a group to just get into the weeds and figure out, okay, I'm doing Circle of Spores Druid. How does this change this? How does this change this? Where does this fall? This other ability. I have rituals now. What does that mean? Where does that go? So it's cool. It was cool. I liked it. I think it was good. And it was about the same timeline as our other normal sessions too. So, you know, it all worked out.
It was my first Session Zero using like a questionnaire method almost to kind of guide conversations. Normally it's just we sit down and we just talk about what's going on, what we're expecting, stuff like that. Like it's more of a casual, organic, and fairly chaotic conversation. So this is kind of my first time having a structure, script, whatever you want to go off of. Just talking points that to hit and talk about. By far and above, though, I think the biggest thing that we did was character creation and converting over what we wanted to convert from D&D 5e or 5.5 and converting it over into Tales of the Valiant because
both actually.
Yeah, pulling from 5 and 5.5 because they just didn't exist in Tales of the Valiant yet. Now they do have a Player's Handbook 2 coming out here in the near future. I have backed it on Kickstarter, hardback, and PDF, so I'll be able to share that with my players so that we can use that if we want to / need to. But yeah, they have a lot of stuff coming out, which I'm really excited about. And if we can get it into our campaign, I'll figure out. I'll be spearheading that one. Absolutely.
I would say that most of our characters did come together naturally, though. What was it? Me and Chase both went in with one plan and walked out with another.
I was, to be fair, I was stuck between 2 plans. I was stuck between 3 plans actually, because Rumlock is always on the board. Always.
He's always in the pipe, ready to go.
I don't know. I just can't imagine that always having like a dwarf slayer character just ready to go is a bad thing.
Why would that be a bad thing?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's my backup character basically in every campaign now. Okay. In case he dies. In case I die. Right. If I die, Rumlock's coming in. Like
there you go. But that's you guys having like multiple character ideas though. I feel that's a gamer thing to do. Like if you spend any sort of time and mental investment in the system and in the rules and everything, you're gonna start having that fantasy of how do I make this character? What if I mix these 2 things? What if I do this? What if I do that? So you're gonna have 5, 6, 20 characters in the back of your mind, and the hardest part is going to be picking which one you want to use.
For me, it was
Yeah.
where it was like, okay, if this person plays this type of character, this person plays this type of character, then I'm going to play this. And that's what it was with Chase. Is he was originally talking about like a gear forged fighter. Well, okay, I'm not going to play a fighter. Then I'm going to play a wizard.
Yeah.
And then
I tank.
And then he was
I
going to go
tank,
with
yeah.
a cleric.
But yeah, now we're doing. Yeah, I was doing a grave cleric. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess we don't have a tank or an up front fighter besides the Goliath. So
Yeah, and she's a
I guess
monk,
I'm going
yeah.
fighter.
So it's interesting you say we don't have a tank, right? Because I'm playing a grave cleric that is taking the heavy armor. Yeah, and I'm taking what is it? The two choices that you get. One gave you heavy armor, and then the other one gave you another like cantrip or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was either you go the heavy armor cleric type, which I guess there's a couple archetypes you could do. But yeah, either it was heavy armor or you went the more spell casting route. Either mid or back line type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I took heavy armor for sure. Like I intended, no matter what character I was going to play, they were going to be frontlining. They're going to be up there hitting things, and I was just stuck, right? I developed this Malakim character a long time ago when I developed the original Kilk character, and actually Malakim or Rumlock were going to be my picks for Nate's campaign.
Oh, okay.
And then I ended up creating Toy Bar, mostly because you were playing Paladin.
Oh, okay.
And I had realized we didn't have a range damage dealer in the party. So I was like, F it, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. And, I created Toy Bar. And it was awesome. I love Toy Bar as a character. He's right behind me. But
he ended up having ranged artillery when it came to Rama. I mean, she was destroying everything. I think she had
The most kill counts.
the highest kill count of the entire party.
She did, yeah.
For someone that struggled with feeling relevant, she definitely was the most relevant.
She was a powerhouse
in combat.
Our entire combat kind of revolved around her. So yeah.
For big damage, yeah. I mean, she was a warlock that had a 22 charisma that had empowered Eldritch Blast. Like it was pretty strong, I guess we would say.
Yeah, dealing some huge numbers.
Yeah, because it's empowered allows you to add your charisma modifier to the damage. So once you get that, it's wild because at that point you're probably shooting 4 beams. By the time you're hitting 22, right? 3 or 4 beams. So it all just, multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. And I actually started Nate's campaign as Rumlock.
For session and a half. 2 sessions.
Yeah, it was like 2 sessions. And because there was such a break in between, Rama kept her character. So her character was the only original character from the group that ended the campaign. But yeah, and it's funny because when Nate's campaign came around, I'm like, all right, next campaign, I'm playing Rumlock or I'm playing Malakim because I'd created those 2. And then I was like, oh, Rumlock might be perfect. But I really think this Malakim character has so much potential. And then I went down every rabbit hole that you talked about that TTRPG players, D&D players do, and just started creating characters. I tried to create Captain America at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Which was cool. I had a very cool shield-only Battlemaster build ready to go, and that's why I was able to play Crimgash a little bit in Nate's campaign, was because that gave me a little bit of practice with a Battlemaster. But in the end, I was like, you know what? I've been saving Malakim. He's been on the shelf for 2 years. We're going for it. And it's going to be fun. I'm pretty stoked for it.
I'm actually looking forward to how Malakim interacts with the world. And Tove, I need to start calling her by her new name. I forget what it was though. But yeah, Tove, she's kind of interested how you do it too, to where it's going to be kind of are we going to be in a boss battle and we kill the boss? And then you walk up and go, oh, not your time yet. And then you resurrect the boss. And it's like, we went through all of that. You just brought him back?
So to be fair, my character stabilizes.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'm doing is not allowing that character to die. Or otherwise, right? Or kill them. I'm not like healing him by 1 so that he can stand back up and cast Wish or any of that stuff. It's literally just a stabilizing moment. Now I can do that and heal him afterwards. If the party's like, we want to interrogate this person, like, let's wrap him up, let's do whatever we need to do. Yeah. But no, I'm not. And it's only going to count towards humanoid characters. So, and they have to have a soul because that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
This episode's been brought to you by... What's in the bag? What's in the mystery bag? Relax, adventurers. It's not some grim movie ending. It's better. It's Heimdaller's Mystery Metal Dice Bag, loaded with 20 different styles of heavy, battle-ready metal dice. A random D&D class sticker of 13 possibilities, and a special Heimdall sticker with it. Perfect for your next chaotic moment at the table. So stop guessing, start rolling, find out what's in your bag. Alright, I want you to imagine this. Your next game session, you drop a 4-story guild hall on the table. The roof comes off. Every floor is playable. It's Centurion 3D's Guardia collection. The detail is unreal. The immersion off the charts. Then suddenly, bam, your players walk in the room and your table goes just not from another session to one that will be talked about for years. This is the train that changes the game. Check it out now at Centurion3D.com. Before I ask the next question, I do have to ask, if Malakim would have ran into Gilvickle with how many times that poor NPC died, how would that happen?
I rolled the fate dice like I will for everybody else, right? Because the idea is not that somebody has died and come back to life and that's egregious. The idea is that their fate in the future has to be met correctly.
Yeah, your
right.
role's not done.
Right. I am basically an embodiment of destiny for the goddess of the future.
Yeah.
And so
is
Gilvickle...
Or is it all 3?
Yes. No, just her. She has decided that too many people are messing up their future destinies by doing things, and I am here to correct those things. And the idea is that it's people coming back to life when they're not supposed to, or refusing to die when they're supposed to die, or somebody who died and wasn't supposed to die, right? And it felt like it lended itself well to the Grave Cleric idea of disliking the undead and stuff like that. So, but I am going to play it basically with a fate dice. So, if I would have met Gilvickle and, you would have been like, Gilvickle's been brought, I find out that Gilvickle's been brought back like 4 times, I would be like, fate dice.
We're going to do an audit on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go. All right. Fair enough.
What's in the Loki TV show? What
the TVA?
the Timeline Enforcement Agency or whatever. Yeah. I need to get you a disintegration stick so that you can start pruning people.
So this is and Nathan.
Do not bring the sacred timeline into our setting.
Yeah, the sacred timeline. So Nathan brought up an incredible question at work before session 0, and he was like, what happens if you roll the fate dice and it comes up negative and you're like, all right, this guy's dead, and you smash his head one more time and somebody resurrects him right in front of you. Or I say... survives. Yeah, or I roll the plus and I go to resurrect him, but it doesn't work. The DM basically says it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, you go to resurrect him, or you go to stabilize him, and then someone in the party goes, nope, and then drops the axe on his neck and decapitates him.
Sure. So, in that instance, right, I would have been prevented from ensuring that this person's destiny was correct, right? So what happens in that moment... And Nathan, I'm going to be very honest with you. I came up with that idea on the fly when you asked me. That was not a planned thing. You threw a wild idea at me, and I'm like, dang, he's totally right. What do I do in those moments where basically I'm prevented from carrying out my fate duty? And I was just like, Book of Corrections. So I took the page from the old world Warhammer. The
That's going in the
dwarves.
book.
Yep, they have their book of grudges, and I'm going to be carrying around a book of corrections that I witness that need to be corrected in time. And as a player and as a character design element, I think this is really cool because even after my character is done with this campaign, it gives him a continued purpose. Because I wasn't like born to elvish parents and raised in this whole thing or doing any of that. I was created on the spot by the goddess of the future. She was just like, doink, welcome. It's time to do this.
And I think and the 10 years that we've played, you were the first changeling.
And not walking around changed. I'm walking around in my normal everyday self. And I think that'll be really cool. And Nate, you made a comment to me when we were sitting next to each other at the table, and you were like, I noticed that it was weird that you made a changeling with no deception and no charisma. And I'm like, yeah, because that's not the feel that I'm going for. So it'll be fun.
-1 to deception.
I do have -1. My dump stat. Charisma's my dump stat. I've only been alive for like 7 years.
But Brent, did you feel like everyone's characters came together naturally during this like session 0, or did we have to workshop it a bit?
No, I think it was pretty. I think everyone came into session 0 with an idea already in mind. I know that Tove did. She planned this character out before the end of our previous campaign. We've had the mini for over a year now. We bought the mini at Midwest Fest last year.
Oh, Midwest Fest. Nice. Yeah. There's a few good vendors there.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good vendors there. That was cool. We bought the mini there, and she started making the character, excuse me. She started making the character off of the mini. And so,
cool.
Yeah, and so she was just like, yeah, I'm going to play this next campaign. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So yeah, before we even had session 0, I already had her mini painted. We took like a week and a half talking about color schemes and different iterations of how her character looked, doing deep dives on Goliaths and all that fun stuff. So yeah, she had it already fleshed out before, like in her head before we even showed up. I know, Chase, you had 2 really fleshed out ideas. You were sending me artwork and backstory.
I had 2 backstories fully written out.
All that stuff.
I think was going to be fun, to be fair. Yeah. He definitely has gone right into my character list and definitely in the top.
And Nate, I don't know about you, but you had a lot of possibilities kicking around.
The name for my character was the only thing I walked in. I walked in with the idea of wizard initially, and then he went cleric and walked away from fighter. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to go fighter. I haven't played fighter since I played my DMPC Marius, and I loved playing that character, the vampire purple knight. And I saw.
Is that Merrick?
No, Marius.
Marius. We've got Marius, Merrick, and now Malakim.
Yeah, what's these M names here?
But the name I went into for the wizard was Ephraim, and so I just stuck with that. Went over to the Eldritch Knight, and it was when we're discussing Rama on the last campaign, how she'd go into the campaign guide, you kept mentioning witchers and all that sort of stuff, and I've always wanted to play a monster hunter. And so the Eldritch Knight with a witcher that maybe doesn't theologically believe in Rama, but loves what she stands for and all that sort of stuff, and just loves killing monsters, just stuck out, and I love it.
So are you going to bring their power necessarily, like is their power going to come from Rama? Like from the Order? Like did the group get created by Rama with some whatever, like say the Witchers they had their trials, right? Yeah, and all that other things that you had to go through. Is that something that you intend to like backstory flesh out with how you become one of these monster hunters as part of this thing? Or is your guy like a one-off?
No, there's an order. He's part of a guild called the Order of the Golden Falcon. It's a little basically homage to the Witcher Society. They don't draw power from Rama just because she's divine and they are arcane. I don't know if that's how it works in Tales of the Valiant or what. I can't. They changed the magic.
No,
A little bit, yeah. There's a little bit change.
Yeah, Eldritch Knights are still they're arcane. Yeah.
So they draw from the weave and all that, but they believe in what she stands for and making your own destiny. And considering where he's from, which is Stormrend, Stormrend's based off of New Orleans meets Japan and Neverwinter. It's this rocky kind of place that just gets pummeled by
Cajun Imperial Japanese?
Yes.
I love it. That sounds like, man, if you were a voice actor and you could pull that off, please hit me up. Right? I want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear Cajun Samurai. Yeah.
But like the land gets pummeled by hurricanes, so he comes from kind of like the Ironborn from Game of Thrones. That my home's been destroyed multiple times and I've survived. I can pretty much go through anything.
The Iron Way.
Yes, the Iron.
Is that they're saying? It's been a long time since I've seen it. They come from the Iron Isles.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and they pay the price of iron. Yes, the iron price. There we go.
Yeah. Is that no?
He did pay the iron price.
I didn't do any sort of deep dive on Game of Thrones or anything. Is also that where the Iron Bank came from?
No, that's from Bravos. That's across the sea and all that.
Ah, they stole something iron. Interesting.
The Iron Islands are basically like a group of dudes who live in an archipelago, it feels like, or on the coast, and they're like Viking raiders. All their power comes from their fleets. Pirate raiders, dudes, but their own kingdom, right? It was very interesting. And, you know, they operate off of paying the iron price, you know, which is basically like trying to be as badass as you can. So if you get your leg cut off, then you just paid the price.
To get
it's wild.
Initiated, you basically have to drown, if I remember right. Or it's almost like a baptism to where they hold you underneath the water and you have to take a lung full of salt water and come back up and cough it up or die.
They do that to the Navy SEALs as part of their training too. So
well, they don't hold them underwater and make them like inhale water, but yeah, they do drowning stuff. Yeah. Because the whole point is to create a Navy SEAL, not a corpse.
It's probably the whole point of the Iron Isles as well.
That's a good, fair point. Fair point.
So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I really like your character, Nate, to be honest with you. I think it's got a lot of really cool potential.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so. I'm going to enjoy the interactions, especially with, because I was talking to you at work about it, of Rama and the Norns are basically on two ends of the different spectrum. And it actually says in her entry, it's like the Norns do not like Rama because she believes in writing your own destiny, not following a path, forging your own way, and taking life by the horns, basically. The Norns are kind of the opposite. They believe in destiny and they believe in the written way, and they're trying to kind of, after Ragnarok 500 years ago, reforge things and get a little bit more back of like, this is what's supposed to happen as opposed to whatever's been happening.
I feel like the Norns are part of the cycle of like the Norse cycle of like rebirth, right? That's the idea. And it feels to me like the Norns as a trio, right? We have what's happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future and what's happening now. They want all of those things to continue, right? Like this. So the one in the past knows that Ragnarok has happened. Obviously, everybody knows Ragnarok's happened. But the idea that it could happen again in the future is really cool.
I would have fun if Brent introduced it of just because it is a, you know, there are obviously people like this in the real world if they're Ragnarok deniers.
We already had what was the dude, Brent, from your guy who was like refusing to believe that there were other dimensions?
Matthew,
even though he just come back from killing like witches and hags and stuff.
Yeah, where he was like, no, Midgard's the only world, like the other realms don't exist. Just like
we're going to Helheim to do this, and he's like, sure you are, buddy, sure you are.
Okay, there are literal volumes and like bookcases full of like atlases and spells specifically from other realms. Nah.
That was
Yeah, it was really cool.
jab at American politics, and I don't usually like to
At the
bring it
flat
up.
earthers.
Yeah, flat earthers are just like you listen to somebody on TV, you listen to them give a speech, and you're like, there's a possibility you are going to be in a position of power in this.
Yeah, that's could. Yeah, flat earthers and aliens built the pyramids.
He would have been pseudo next up, right? Because the Utgards were one of the primary families that ran the city.
The whole point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was the point. Yeah.
To be fair, he seemed nice. Like, just wildly clueless.
Yeah, he's just supposed to be basically a dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fun. He was actually for as short of a time that he was within our story, he was really cool. He was really fun.
He was interesting. Yeah.
It created a moment, which is what you need in D&D is moments.
With like the session 0 though, Brent, like is there anything that you wanted to establish off like early just to avoid any future confusion?
Like in the session 0 itself?
Yeah.
No, because when it comes to the story I'm trying to create, confusion is going to be kind of the thing.
Well, you established like it was part of Svartalfheim. So
yes.
to avoid like this person that says, oh, I came from this realm.
Yeah, I kind of wanted you guys to pick like in my head, I had an idea of what's lineages I wanted you guys to take, but I also didn't want to pigeonhole you guys into playing specific lineages. Like I didn't want to say you have to pick a dwarf, elf, or hodkin, because sometimes it's interesting coming up with a reason why a non-standard lineage is there. Why you're in Svartalfheim.
Yeah.
Why is a human there? Whatever.
For our listeners, by the way, I'm playing a human, and I'm probably the odd man out of this group.
Yeah,
and I purposely did that.
Well,
I did that intentionally. I wanted to play a human because I wanted to be Marion from the Monsters, the only normal
one. Yeah, yeah,
and be the odd person that way.
I like it
because I have because Tove is playing a Goliath. I have a reason. Like she helped me come up with a reason why Goliaths are there. There is a presence in Svartalfheim of Goliaths. There's that. Then we have Rama is playing a
Circle of Spores druid, a fairy Circle of Spores druid.
Yeah, fairy.
Yeah.
Circle of Spores druid. Circle of Spores can make sense though, especially underground.
Oh, the mushrooms?
Yes.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
mushrooms
easy.
Were a perfect fit.
A fairy. That's going to be interesting. How that's going to play out. We have a backstory about why Malakim's there. Our Changeling Cleric of the Fates.
I totally thought you were going to portal me into that warehouse and cause the issues. Whatever's going to happen in there. When I noticed what was happening and you're going around, I was like, I'm going to be the guy that portals in and all hell breaks loose because a portal just opened up and everyone's mad.
Oh, in our first session?
Yeah, I was like, great. I'm there now again. I thought I got past Toybar.
Yeah, no, when,
that was fun. I thought was happening.
I have my my red flag moment, or with the flag goes up moment, to where everything hits the fan. I have it in mind, and I'm pulling from an idea one of the players in my very original group back in the early 2000s. I'm talking like 03. Either 03 or 04. An idea that he pitched that it was like a thought experiment. And we just kind of sat on the table, just kind of talking about it. I'm like, I don't know, it always kind of stuck with me. So I'm going to use that as the inciting moment of when everything kind of like, like I said before, like kind of hits the fan.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.